Records could be fixed length or variable length. Fixed length records have fixed number of fields, and their fields have fixed lengths. Note that in a relational database, the assumption is the number of fields are the same for the whole relation. This means that the variable length records can have variable length fields. Variable length formats can be used to store fixed length records as well. A file is a collection of pages, and pages are a collection of records. The question we want to explore now is that how we can store each of these record formats on a page. We can see a page as a collection of empty slots where each slot can hold a record. In this way, we can locate each record with its page ID and a slot number. We can use different ways to format a page: a packed format, a bitmap format, and a slot directory format. Packed format stores records in the first n slots of a page. Bitmap uses an array of bits to show used slots. Packed and bitmap formats could be used for fixed length records. A slot directory uses a directory of slots, keeping information about the slots within each page. Slot directory could be used for both of the fixed length and variable length records. In the packed format, a page is pre-formatted to fixed length uniform slots. This could be used for records of the same length. What the packed format does is to store records in the first n slots of the page. N is the number of records in the page and is kept on the page. The empty slots start after slot n and continue to the end of the page space. While adding, the record is added to the empty space. And while deleting, the last record on the page moves into the vacated slot, then the space for record n is added to the beginning of the free space, and n is decremented. Using the packed format, we can locate the ith record on the page by offset calculation, meaning I-1 times the length of each slot, added to the address of first slot. This requires a reordering of the records as record deletes happen in the page. For slotted pages with fixed length slots, we can also use a bitmap approach. In this method, we can use an array of bits with length m. M is the possible number of slots in a page. Each bit in the bit array shows if the corresponding slot is used or free. The free slots with bitmap value of 0 could be used in insertion. When the slot is used, the corresponding bitmap is set to 1. In delete, only the slot bitmap can be set to 0, showing the slot is unused. This makes the delete operation much easier than the packed approach. Packed and bitmap approaches can only be used for fixed length records with slotted pages. We can also use a directory of slots for maintaining the space on a page. This is particularly useful for variable length records. For variable length records, it is not effective to divide pages into a collection of fixed length slots. Finding a space to fit a record is not as simple as picking an empty fixed size slot then. It needs finding enough space available. A space that is a lot larger than required will waste space, and a space that is smaller cannot fit a record. Therefore, the goal is to find a slot with the right amount of available space. This might not be a very easy task if we cannot move the slots around. We can organize a page with variable length records using a directory of slots. for each record, a pointer to the starting point of the record, which is also known as the record offset, as well as the length of the record, is kept at the directory. N, the number of records in the page, which is also the number of entries in the directory, and a pointer to the remaining free space is also kept at the directory. On deletion of a record, the record offset could simply be set to -1. On addition of a record, the record could be added to the free space. If free space is not enough, a data area reorganization to free the space from previously deleted records and adding them to the free space could be performed. A simpler version of the directory of slots that does not maintain the length field for each entry can be used for fixed length records.